Hello and welcome to CX Today. My name is Charlie. I am the head of publication here, and I'm thrilled today to bring you a discussion sharing some key consumer and C-suite trends coming out of NICE's 2025 Global Happiness Index, which NICE describes as the industry's blueprint for customer happiness in the age of AI. And this year, NICE surveyed over 12,000 consumers across 6 global markets: the US, UK, Australia, Japan, Brazil, and Mexico. And 270 C-suite leaders from enterprise companies in the US and UK. And joining me to discuss the biggest takeaways from this year's Global Happiness Index are two very special guests. Yesterday, I'm happy to be joined by Barry Cooper, President of Customer Experience at NICE, and Omer Minkara, VP and Principal Analyst at Aberdeen Research. Thanks both very much for joining me for this discussion, and let's get right on into it. And the first big takeaway for me is that despite the general downturn in global happiness, which is quite sad to see, the report shows that customer service happiness is on the rise. And Barry, I kind of want to start with you on this one. Could you maybe highlight the fundamental shifts in customer expectations and brand behavior that might explain that trend?
Absolutely. First of all, by the way, I don't know about you guys, I think it's cool that we actually started this survey around kind of happiness in general. You know, it's something that doesn't necessarily get a lot of attention. So, and again, as you said, Charlie, it's not surprising and pretty unfortunate that, you know, happiness is down, as you say. And when I went through the results, it was, you know, the things that people cited, and we're not talking about customer service, it's just general happiness, that were bringing down unhappiness, or bringing unhappiness, I guess, or bringing unhappiness was, you know, politics, economy, and environment. And I think, you know, it's no surprise and unfortunate, but I guess it does also then reinforce how interesting it is that despite happiness going down, happiness and customer service went up. Usually the two are correlated. So it was a small tick up, but it's something as well that's quite interesting. So, you know, when I think it was 36% of people said they were happy in last year, it's up to 41% this year in customer service, that is. Though it's a modest, it's probably a material improvement given the overall index went down. And when I dug through the numbers and everything, I thought what was cool was that 72% of consumers said they've experienced benefits of AI and automation in the space of customer service. So I think we're starting to get, I mean, we call it internally kind of the AI wow effect. You know, finally people are having experiences in customer service and they think, wow, I wasn't expecting that. So I think that's one of the factors in there, which is great because we've been talking about AI for so many years. And that is kind of reiterated when you look at the demographics because both factors are higher in consumers under 35. They are happier with customer service and happier or experience the benefits of AI as well. So I thought that was, as an opening gambit, quite interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I don't know, Omer, if you also sort of had any takes on those shifts in customer expectations and brand behavior and how that might be influencing this overarching trend?
No, absolutely. And I think a lot of his similar observations, as Barry has shared, politics, economy, environment, they all play a key role on consumer confidence. And I think that consumer confidence piece is really the big linchpin, if you will, that determines consumers' level of engagement, their satisfaction. So if you look at the macro picture the past few years and kind of zoom out a little bit from today outwards for a couple of years back, consumer purchasing power has been on the decline due to mostly rapid inflation and also uncertainty since the early days of the pandemic. And the gap between consumer expectations, affordability, and what consumers are able to purchase is really widening. So I think we're nearing a tipping point where that gap is really hard to bridge, and consumers are now expecting brands more than ever to deliver top-notch support. When they purchase products and services, they want to make sure that they are purchasing those products and services from reputable brands that are there when they need them, that deliver personalized top-tier support. And the other piece that Barry has also alluded to was the AI wow effect. I think as technology is getting more complex and sophisticated and user-friendly as well for AI, we're seeing technology introducing greater efficiencies. And that's leading to better personalization, but also CX leaders getting better in addressing consumer expectations, elevating the levels of satisfaction, and ultimately elevating the level of satisfaction from service in particular, although consumer happiness is kind of on the downward trend. So net, the findings from the research also seem to support that. We're seeing 69% of the consumers in the survey raise their hands and say, we trust brands when they use AI. We feel that they're investing in technology to make our lives better.
Yeah, it's interesting that you both mentioned in your answers there that wow effect. As you mentioned, the findings of this report do highlight that tangible wow effect that AI is having on real customer experiences. And Emma, maybe it would be great if you could maybe expand on what this wow effect means for the future of service and how brands can ensure the wow of AI translates into genuine value and improved experiences rather than just more superficial AI features.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, we talked about this notion of magic versus reality when it comes to AI, right? So there's this cool factor, and there definitely is that cool factor when consumers are interacting with organizations and they have AI built into the experience. It's new, it's cool, it's interesting to see brands adopt those capabilities, but it's also a testament that they're investing in technology to elevate the level of support. That being said, the wow effect related to AI is not just about the cool factor that AI is new and interesting. It actually goes beyond that, new factor. It applies to CX outcomes. So we're seeing businesses are able to elevate the level of customer satisfaction to the tune of consumers saying, 72% of consumers saying they have seen benefits when AI and automation have been embedded in conversations with brands that they're interacting with. Again, big number, 72% of consumers saying, when we have used AI as part of the experience I have with those brands that I'm seeking support from, my experience has been better. That's kind of what came out from the research. The other thing that came out was one of the common misconceptions, that is AI is a one and done initiative. It's not. And I think we're seeing C-suite leaders really move along that maturity curve and really recognize that AI is a journey. It's not this flip a switch, wow, and we're done. It's a journey where it continues to amaze business leaders with positive outcomes, with customers, with better experiences when it's deployed the right way. So having said that, 78% of the C-suite leaders in the survey said that they are happy with their state of AI-powered services as compared to only 50%. So there's definitely a gap as far as how C-suite leaders are utilizing AI and the benefits that they're seeing versus what consumers are expecting, which goes to show us that there's still even further room for improvement when it comes to AI usage. And then lastly, one of the other key takeaways I had related to the wow effect was the consumer sentiment and behavior and how this aligned with AI usage. We're seeing nearly 2/3, 64% to be exact, of consumers reporting in the survey that they feel motivated to engage brands via social media. That's a prime opportunity for CX leaders to then use AI to deliver better experience, to encourage consumers to share their experiences, to ultimately elevate the level of brand awareness that's positive and attract net new customers as well.
Yeah, there are lots of really great data points there, and lots of stats to take away from that. I don't know if there's anything particular that you would double down on there, Barry, or if there's anything interesting about the wow effect that you've noticed as well.
Yeah, so obviously in the last year and a half or so, all of us, everyone out there, we've started to use AI a lot more than we did before. And so very quickly our expectations get higher. Yeah, like what was really impressive 3 months ago is so today, kind of thing. And I think back about, I'm using AI in all parts of my life, both professional and personal. And I think even today, where are I personally getting the wow effect? And so on my personal life, for example, I do a lot of like bike riding and bike racing. And I won't name the platform, but I have all my data on that single platform. All my exercise data, all my health data goes there as well. And so the wow effect I'm getting now is recommendations on how to train differently, how to work differently from an AI suggestion in this tool. And that to me is a massive wow, much more than a generic prompt or generic question I'm putting to Gemini or ChatGPT, which I'm no longer impressed with, if you like. So what is it about? I thought to myself, what is it about that really impresses me? And it's two things. First of all, that particular platform I have for my cycling has all of my data, and it's very specific to my health data, and it's all in one place. And it's not necessarily a point solution focused on one particular part of kind of health, if you like. And that really reminded me of what we're doing at NICE as well. We don't believe that you're going to get the wow effect pretty soon from point solutions, because they don't have access to all of the customer service data and journey data that's available. They only know about what happened in that particular kind of interaction type, a chat, whatever. And they're not trained on CX specific data as well. So that's what we've been doing at NICE with CX One Empower, of course, is a single platform that is the equivalent of what I do for my bike racing, but for customer service. And so we believe that the wow factor for AI isn't just a fancy bot that can talk like a human being, but really achieve not much stuff, but actually knows your history, knows your interaction preferences, knows your personality, knows where you've been, because it's trained on CX-specific data and sits on a platform with all of those kind of interactions as well. So I thought that it kind of reiterated to me kind of the importance of those things. So quite interesting.
Yeah, I suppose as well there's that element of orchestration, like how you can orchestrate those wow experiences from the data. And I just know that obviously the Empower Orchestrator is kind of a key solution to do that as well. So I think what you said there is obviously really key, and I think that orchestrator as well seems like another great addition to sort of enabling that wow effect.
Yeah, you're right. And actually, Charlie, it goes back to, we talked about this before. We met previously, and one of the most powerful things about the latest AI innovations, especially around agentic AI, is the ability to train AI based on like natural language to do pretty complex things. That's great because it's very easy to do. It's also dangerous because with less kind of prescriptive definition of what a bot can and cannot do, it could be dangerous. Or, as I mentioned to you previously, Orchestrate is our way of keeping agentic bots, fulfillment bots, or conversational bots on the train tracks, and to make sure they don't go off track, but at the same time benefit from agentic definitions, saying so long as you operate within these train tracks defined by business processes of CX, you can be agentic. So it's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of really great stuff, and I do want to move the conversation on, because another really big takeaway that we spotted before this call was more on how AI is building consumer trust and confidence. I don't know, Barry, I'll come straight back to you. Could you maybe touch upon that point as well?
Yeah, so one of the data points in there as well is that the consumers told us, and this is again 12,000 or so people that responded to this survey, that they trust companies more when they start to use that company's AI frequently. And it was like 41% more trust a company than 21% less. So we have, clearly there's more work to do here. 41% trusting a company more versus 21% trusting it less, but that's the start of a trend. And I think, so why do we see that consumers trust companies more when they use AI frequently? I think it's because, AI assistants, if it's assisting employees that then talk consumers, or bots who are working directly with the end consumers, first of all, they can provide answers much quicker. They're available 24/7. They can, tailor and anticipate the needs of the consumer more than ever. They'll be consistent. It's not going to be a different answer each time. Again, going back to that agentic thing staying on the rails. Unlike people, who represent an organization, them being consistent is really dependent on how well they've been trained in many cases. Also, bots can enable consumers to get more done by themselves, how they want to do themselves without being dependent on another human being. And also, they can be transparent about the decisions and explain why a decision was taken. And again, a person may be more less trustworthy or give different answers, which people don't trust a company so much. And I think this has all been accelerated recently by the introduction of LLMs and chatbots that really make these experiences more human-like. than before. So I think, and they're all the things we've taken into consideration as we build out CX1 Empower. So I can see how we're starting on this track where people that use AI from a company trust the company more than a company that doesn't use AI and rely on people who sometimes can be, inconsistent, or what they do depend on training, or those kinds of things. So I can see how that's beginning, but I think a lot more work to go.
Yeah, again, lots of really great points there. And is there anything that you would also add to that, Omer?
Yeah, so I think I'll echo many of the things that Barry has shared, but one of the things that I found really interesting in the research as well was the benefits of AI are not just one and done, one-time benefits. As Barry has mentioned, when you're, say, cycling and you're gathering a lot of your health data as an example, you can use that for many purposes, and you can use that over time to continuously improve your competitive performance, your health. So the data, when we looked at the survey results, was the more consumers are using and interacting with AI, they seem to be more and more impressed and satisfied. In fact, a significant percentage, that is a 41% of consumers, told us in the survey that when they're interacting with AI on a weekly or daily basis, they tend to trust those capabilities more and more. So the more you use AI, the greater the trust grows. You find more innovative use cases as consumers as well. And then another interesting data point around consumer confidence was the C-suite perception of how they're able to instill that kind of confidence. It seems that less than half, that is 44% of the C-suite leaders, have said that they feel equipped to manage the transition. So there's definitely some trust and reliance benefits that the consumers are seeing, but the C-suite is seemingly falling behind a little bit in terms of feeling ready to address that. So again, it's a great opportunity for disrupting against competitors as well as within and across industries by making better use of AI, but also making more trusted use of AI. So speaking of trust, one of the suggestions that I like to share is for brands to earn and maintain consumer trust, you got to focus on consumer happiness. So when we dig deeper into one of the questions in the survey, into what are the key drivers of consumer happiness, we've seen stress-free service, effortless service, and personalization. And every process, every task that starts with AI and automation must factor every single one of those pillars to make it easier for consumers to trust the brand and generate loyalty. And then also, Barry has alluded to it, we talked about the example of train tracks, swimming lanes. There's the conversation around guardianship of consumer data and privacy. Consumers inherently expect equitable use of AI capabilities, and any conversation handled by AI must be upholding the ethical standards. It should be not just making consumers' lives easier, but it should be trusted and ethical.
Yeah, again, lots of good stuff, and I think we've really come away with some great takeaways about how AI is helping to build consumer trust. But I do want to move on to another takeaway, because this one really raised my eyebrows. And it showed that customers are increasingly willing to pay more for premium customer service. So it'll be fascinating to hear why you both think this is, and whether or not that potentially presents an opportunity for certain brands. I don't know, Omer, what your kind of first impressions of that were.
Yeah, no, this is definitely an eyebrow raiser for sure. Looking at the data, why would consumers want to pay more for service? But if you kind of step back a little bit, it actually makes sense, right? So stress-free and effortless experiences that I talked about earlier as key factors influencing consumer happiness. That's what consumers want today. So regardless of where the consumer is, buyers expect, brands to be able to address their issues rapidly, efficiently. Consumers don't want to spend unnecessary time and effort. So they recognize that unnecessary time and effort comes at a cost from their personal lives, from professional lives, and instead they are willing to pay a premium to avoid that unnecessary cost in the form of their time and effort. And then we've also been conditioned really well, in my opinion, by airlines, hospitality firms, and banks, where they've done a great job educating consumers and really reshaping the buyer behavior, where we understand that you need to pay to access different tiers of service, things like extra legroom, priority boarding, or complimentary lounge access, or hotel upgrades, premium cards. There's so many examples of that, not just in those industries, but also beyond those industries. So, it's no doubt that consumers are they understand that, when you pay more, you could expect more premium service. One of the caveats, though, that I would caution, any business and C-suite leader is to not have that premium service come at the expense of eroding the quality of service built in for free service offerings. So, that's going to result in customers being frustrated, stop doing business because of backlash. So when you're using AI and automation, that's the prime opportunity to be able to elevate your free or built-in service, but yet again, find innovative ways to deliver premium service, more white glove, innovative service that really delivers that wow effect that Barry and us all talked about.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that caution, as you mentioned, is key there. But sorry, Barry, was there anything that you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, I think all of us were surprised by this one. Yeah, it's very rare to do a survey and people say, "Yeah, I'd like to, spend more on this. I'm willing to spend more on this." So it does show the real kind of undeniable value of AI in service. And just to reiterate the numbers, yeah, it was, consumers told us that they're willing to spend 53% more for customer service that makes them feel happy. And to put that in real numbers, we heard that the general public, if you like, would spend $35 per month to have great consumer experiences, and actually the under 35s it went up to $50 per month. So it obviously shows the value of this as well. So it shows the importance of AI in our market and why we're all leaning so hard into this, because there's a win-win here for everyone, if you like. And it raised a couple of points for me, which I thought were quite interesting. Obviously, first of all, the value of differentiation for brands and organizations. To offer a differentiated service that goes way beyond kind of what's possible today through, incredible AI for their most valued customers who are already spending a lot on the products and services there as a retention mechanism. We've all known for years how customer service becomes very important, as a part of an overall experience. But the really interesting thing, and we've been doing a bit of work at this on NICE as well, is there's going to be a future where organizations have adopted AI solutions to resolve customer service, but at the same time, all of us as consumers have our own AI butlers. Be it Siri or a Gemini or whatever that's on our phones, and we'll be telling our AI assistants, could you talk to my water company and do this? Oh, and go do this with my electricity company, and talk to my bank. I want to move some money to here and here. I don't want to deal with it myself. Go sort that for me. And then the AI butlers go off and do that. And that then unlocks a whole new world that we're working on right now of AI to AI communication. Because consumer AIs are going to be talking to organizational AIs in the same way today that humans speak to humans. So that whole kind of AI to AI integration and standards around that and protecting and the guardrails that manifest that are also going to be very important. So very, very interesting, and kind of backs in a lot to some of the research we're doing, for the future of customer service at NICE as well.
Yeah, that's been a really fascinating trend. I think the future of machine-to-machine customer service, and recently we saw Google Search sort of experimenting with a feature that will, exactly as you said, allow directly from your Google search results you to send an agent to contact a business for you. And it was also, as you mentioned there, through Siri, but through Google devices, have an on-device chatbot which allows it to take outbound communications from businesses as well as friends and family. So that is it's a really great trend, and I think it reflects also, again, not to sound like a broken record, but to the importance of having that orchestration piece in it to sort of guide those conversations. But anyway, I should move on to focusing back on the report, I suppose. It'd be just great finally to hear from both of you what else really stood out for you within the findings from the entire study. And I don't know, Barry, if you maybe want to start here.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool always to know what, at the end of the day, consumers want out of customer service, because at the end of the day, that's what's guiding all of the stuff we're doing. So consumers, and it's kind of the same as we've always. It's no surprise. Omer referenced it earlier as well. They want stress-free experiences. They don't want stress. They don't want to get angst, about trying to get something done. They want it to be easy, effortless, when they want to do it. And they want it to be personalized as well. So, it highlights the importance that, as we're innovating in customer service, and us at NICE, we're, adding features to CX1 Empower that we are making sure that we make the organizations that buy CX1 Empower available on all the touch points that customers may need. So it's, stress-free. You can get hold of the organization however suits you, WhatsApp, your AI assistant, a voice call, whatever. Customer verification and validation is absolutely critical, because, again, it's stress-free to think that someone's hacking into your account, but having that almost invisible, so you're not put through the stress of trying to remember your first dog's maiden name, if that's such a thing, or whatever, but that is stress-free and effortless as well. I think, and for me personally, like, the effortless means the asynchronous options. It's very difficult in my life to free up 10, 15 minutes to do one thing. So I like to kick things off, and come back to them when I do. And that's how many of us communicate through WhatsApp or SMS. Yeah, you kick something off, someone may reply and you come back 20 minutes later. So asynchronous options are always really, really cool for that. Having all the data available is very important. So, very frustrating, stressful thing is to be able, when you have to repeat yourself over and over again, whether you're talking, you say something on the IVR and then you say it again to an agent, then you say it again to the person you get handed off to. So again, having that information available through it as well. Being able to deliver those AI-powered customer service with a human touch as well. So still being able to speak to real people, but those people being empowered by, the right knowledge and everything as well. So, again, I would summarize to say that people want stress-free, effortless, personalized experiences, and that's exactly what we're trying to do and what we're trying to build on our CX platform with CX1 Empower.
Yeah, it's great because those are the same goals, I suppose, that we've had in customer service for 10 years in terms of stress-free, effortless, and personalizations. But the new mechanisms we have to do that are super exciting. And I don't know, Omer, as well, if you if you want to touch on any of what Barry said, or if you have sort of your own key takeaways from the report.
Yeah, so I think maybe just to add a few, definitely will echo a lot of what Barry has mentioned as well. But one of the other things that I felt was really striking was what I would call AI readiness. So it seems like consumers are readier for AI than business leadership, which is great, right? So any business and C-suite leader should be jumping with joy for that. So the numbers that we looked at here was, consumers, 69% of them to be exact, are saying that they do trust brands that are using AI. And we heard of the many reasons during our conversation today. And in comparison, 37% of C-suite leaders feel that consumers could be fearing in terms of trusting AI. So there seems to be a bit of a gap where business leadership is more pessimistic in terms of how welcoming consumers will be. And in reality, consumers are very much welcoming AI engagement. So it's time for C-suite leaders to be more pragmatic and really find innovative ways to layer AI into many of the parts of the CX journey. And then another interesting finding here was C-suite leaders' happiness with the level of AI-enabled services they deliver. 78% of them said, we're really happy with the quality of service we deliver, compared to 50% of consumers saying the same when they interact with organizations using AI. So I think, from the lens of C-suite leadership, they seem to have a bit more rosy view. So that, again, is an easy fix by listening into the voice of the customer and really seeing the impact that AI is creating in any and all forms of AI to continuously improve where and how AI is used to ultimately build customer-centric AI. Any AI program, much like any other technology or initiative, it needs to be outside in. That is, it needs to focus on the customer versus the business priorities. That is the inside out approach.
Yeah, so lots of really great takeaways there. So thanks very much, Omer and Barry. What I'll do for everybody watching is add a link in the description to the happiness index so you can dive a little bit deeper into all of those stats that we've gone through today and find, of course, lots of others too. And also, before we leave, I do quickly want to shout out Nice Interactions, which is happening in Las Vegas in June, and also Nice Interactions International, which is happening in London in July. And I'll also leave links to those. That's a great opportunity to connect with Barry, who, of course, will be there, and his team to discuss any of the topics we've talked about today, from using AI for the wow effect to orchestration to even how you can create your own premium customer service experiences. So yeah, all links to all of those will be in the description. But for now, I think that's a really great place to end today's chat. I really want to thank Barry and Omer for joining me for today's conversation, and also to you all for watching. Bye for now.